The Book of Job, Concluding Thoughts. In preparing this material and teaching the Book of Job, I have found it to be one of the more challenging books of the Bible. Its challenge was related to several things. Knowing God would later rebuke Job and his friends for things they said, it was difficult to discern when to make what they said as gospel and what would incur God's wrath. Some of the illustrations or points being made were difficult to follow. This may be due to the cultural differences, or perhaps the Hebrew proved to be a challenge for the translators in conveying the thoughts of the speakers, or maybe it was just my own dullness. Elihu remains somewhat of an enigma to me. The Lord neither condemns nor approves what Elihu had to say. There are times when it seems he is saying the same thing as Job's three friends, that Job is suffering due to his sin. Example, when he says Job adds rebellion to his sin, chapter 34, verse 37. I do see a major distinction between Elihu and the others, in that Elihu focuses on Job's suffering as a disciplinary expression of God's grace, as opposed to simply a punitive manifestation of God's wrath. I also see how Elihu's admonition of Job to stand still and consider the wondrous works of God, chapter 37, verse 14, prepares Job for what is to follow when the Lord finally speaks. Perhaps it is best to say that Elihu serves as a transition between Job's friends and the Lord himself, presenting thoughts that will make it easier for Job to consider what the Lord himself will actually say. Despite its challenges, I find the book of Job fascinating and filled with much good for the Christian. Studying the book of Job, we can learn God's power, wisdom, and sovereignty in the world. We can see how men of God grappled with the question of God's justice, and we can observe that God does take notice of the righteous. The book also provides an answer to the challenge made by Satan. There are people who will serve God even in adversity, for God is worthy of our praise apart from the blessings He provides. May we be such people. That doesn't mean we won't have questions for which answers can't be found in this life. But with the book of Job, we can learn how the righteous should suffer, how careful we should be in comforting the suffering, and to accept the fact that we can never fully comprehend God's working in our lives and in the world. From this book of Job, we should see the need to have the faith beautifully expressed by the prophet Habakkuk. Habakkuk 3:17 through 19. Though the fig tree may not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, though the labor of the olive may fail, and the fields yield no food, though the flock may be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. The Lord God is my strength. He will make my feet like deer's feet, and He will make me walk on my high hills. With the concluding thoughts, this ends our study on the book of Job.